Well, ladies and gentlemen, the following podcast is set for one episode. Your hosts from Columbus, Ohio and Westfield, Massachusetts are Michael Kirk and Nathan Wagner. Welcome to the Outlaw Mudcast. Hello and welcome to the Outlaw Mudcast, your digital audio dirt sheet for all things Super Show. Good morning, Nate.
Good morning, Michael. Good morning to our listeners. Hopefully everybody had a good day yesterday, and we'll cover all of that exciting action and the fallout from Marktoberfest as you were there yesterday live to see it all unroll.
I saw as much as I could. Nate, I just want to say I'm glad to have you back. You've been off the last couple of weeks. People have been asking about you, but you're back. I'm happy to have you back.
Back on the saddle.
Right. Back to serve up the hot takes. All right, so
how was Marktoberfest yesterday?
It was good. It was a big event. 53. I got a couple different numbers, but from the store they told me 53 people registered and 49 people actually showed up. So it broke its own record. It is still the biggest non-convention tournament in Super Show history.
Very nice. It's always a good showing over there at Recess Games.
Yeah, it's a really good time. 49, nice store. The staff was fine with us. The tournament ran really well. Very smooth. Like I said, 49 players, so one guy always got to buy 6 rounds, cut to a top 16.
Was this for a competitor?
This was a critic competitor tournament, yes. So the winner, I don't know if you got to see who won the tournament.
I did not. I was working.
So it came down to 2 guys. One guy, this was his second ever Super Show tournament, playing the Rising Sun, named Tom Hacker.
Okay.
And the other guy we all know, Booker Mania himself, James Booker.
Oh, all right.
All right, so finals were just a standard match, 2 out of 3 falls. You know, in each fall, start a new crowd meter, shuffle the decks, and all that.
Who took the first fall?
The first fall was taken by James Booker, and we'd love to say for the excitement, Tom Hacker, essentially pushed it to a game 3 that didn't happen. Booker 1 and 2 falls.
Well, that's a good showing for someone who's his second ever.
Oh, absolutely good showing.
And that just goes to prove that anything can happen in this game. That's why it's the world's most unpredictable card game. You could show up to an event that's your first event or your 50th event, and you can win.
Yeah.
Or potentially win.
Yeah. So Booker has announced that he's going to make his son into the game. It's going to be a Macho Manny Booker.
Nice.
So we'll see how that turns out. But congratulations to James Booker.
Yes, congratulations. Yeah. Booker Mania was running wild at Marktoberfest.
And he did win with Booker Mania. Booker was playing Booker.
Oh, okay, cool. Even better.
So Booker would win with himself. I played DJ Outlaw. Unfortunately, did not make the cut. Went 3-3.
Well, that's 500. So that's at least not negative.
I'm trying to get over the 500 hump. Every time I play with him now, it's been like 5. I've just been 500. I'm trying to get. I need to get one. I'd like to get one tournament where I make a cut with him. I just had some tough losses. I had some pretty bad losses. Decent wins. But congratulations to Booker. We also had a lot of hardcore title defenses. Of course, Bob the Brain Dunn came in as the hardcore champion. He lost it to Kirk Polka. Kirk Polka, I believe, ended up having 6 defenses.
Yes, 6 title defenses. I saw that.
And then he lost it to Chris Pate. So Chris Pate is the current hardcore champion.
Very nice. Do you know which competitor he used?
I'm not sure which competitor he used. I believe Kirk Polka was using Mila Mai.
Yep.
but I'm not sure who. I did not see Chris Pate. I didn't actually see the match where Chris Pate took the championship, so I just didn't notice who he was using. Of course,
Well,
we had a major title change.
oh, what? I'm sorry.
That's the hardcore. Bob Dunn using brain power took on Pretty Boy Snow using the New World Order.
Then who won?
Pretty Boy Snow. Pretty Boy Snow is now the Tornado Tag Champion.
Wow. He'll probably end up getting Rookie of the Year.
That's quite possible. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's cool.
Yep. Quite a few new cards came out too.
Yeah, a lot of new cards are out.
A lot of new cards came out. We talked about Crippling Crossface last week.
Yep.
The other two cards that you got for basically showing up were two lead cards, number 7 and number 8, Strike and Grapple. The Strike is drawing dimes. It's got Booker cutting a promo with Dave Marisak holding the mic and Matt Nealon behind him.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw the artwork on that. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, add 1 finish from your discard pile to your hand. If your next turn roll is 10, it is +1.
That's pretty cool because, a lot of times you'll add that finish and you roll the 10 and then you'll bump with them and it's like, oh, that was my chance. But nope, now you don't need to worry about bumping. You win the turn roll, you play that finish. That's pretty cool.
And then the other one was Marvelous Recruits, which I think is named after the Heinz new baby Peanut, because her name is Marvel Rose.
Okay.
Okay, and it's essentially making an impact, but present lead grapple. Yeah, where you add a lead from your discard to your hand, and then when your opponent forces you to bury a number of cards from your hand, you draw a card. Yeah, a lot of new cards came out. The Moneymakers with a new art style came out as a tag with 1 finish.
They have a finish now?
They have a finish now. Let me I get that for you. Yeah, the finish is called the Money Order. +5 to power, +4 to agility. Flip 3 cards. Shuffle up to 3 stops from your discard pile into your deck. So it makes the power and agility. What makes the power a 17 and the agility an 8. Going from a 12 and 14 up to a 17 and 18, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
It's a finished strike. And of course we had a couple things happen with the Bob and Matt Nealon. I don't know if you got to see any of that, but
I saw some artwork for a card that they have.
Yeah, they have a card. It's called their tag team's called Double the Fun, using the with an emphasis on the initials.
Yes.
Yes. All right. The gimmick. Well, we'll go through the stats. Power 10, Power 18, technique 14, agility 12, strike 10, submission 20, grapple 16. Double the numbers in the text of all your submission cards. When you hit a card with head or back in the name, your next turn roll is +1.
I like how they, figured in double into the gimmick.
It won't actually double into the gimmick.
No, I just mean the word double is in the gimmick, and that's part of their team name, Double the Fun.
Oh, yeah. You're right. That's a good call. I did not pick that up. I was also cool to see their logos. Matt Nealon's logo is basically just as a face with a headband and a beard. And Bob's logo, Funtime Bob, is a take on the big circle.
Right. Yes.
And of course they have a finish too.
Which is what? I didn't even see it. I just saw as I was scrolling through Facebook this morning, catching up. I saw the artwork of their competitor card. I didn't see the finish itself.
Here's the finish. It's Double Team Supreme. Is the name. It's a finish submission. +1 to grapple and technique for each card you have with head or back in the name.
All right. I like that. It plays off the gimmick.
All right, so
Results from Marktoberfest. Who did Kirk Polka play against?
you've been following the whole thing with Steel Wool coming after.
Not really. I see he made a comeback, though.
So Steel Wool has been basically promising all week he's going to come to Cleveland and then kick. I believe you said David Marasarasak or something to that effect.
And Dave probably got very upset about his last name being pronounced wrong.
Well, but here's the point. So the man that Kirk Polka chose to face was Dave Marasarasak, who is not actually Dave Marasak, but the Dave Marasak cosplayer.
Okay. I remember him.
So he sat down to play Kirk Polka. Steel comes up, super kicks him in the head. He goes out. Kirk Polka hits EC Splash, 1, 2, 3, takes the belt, and runs out of the building.
Oh, wow. So that was a rigged match.
So that's what ended up happening with the match there. I have a source that says the reason that was done that way is because of time constraints. They just didn't have time to get the match in before the store closed.
I mean, that's
because
their second biggest title, so that's poor booking all around, in my opinion. I'm sorry to say it.
And I can tell you, they got torched on Facebook when that happened. There's nobody. I didn't see anyone in the comments who thought that was a positive. They got lit up.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's bad booking. If that's their game's second biggest title, that should have been like before the tournament even happened. Like that should have just happened. If they had time to play the Tornado Tag title match, they should have played the Underworld. Before that Tornado Tag title match even happened. That they should have been like marquee. Make sure that happens.
Yeah, but that's what.
But what do I know? I'm just a cook. I just cook things. I'm no expert. Just a hot take.
That's why you're on the show. All right. So they announced those cards. Those two tag teams. The first, well, not the first, but so that's 3 new tag teams that have come out: Brain Power, Moneymakers, and now Double Fun.
Well, Moneymakers, to be fair, has been out for a while, but it didn't have a finisher. But I'm glad that they finally got a finisher.
Yeah, they did all. It is also now a new art. The original just featured Mr. and Mrs. Moneymaker.
Yes.
Now it's Mr. and Mrs. Moneymaker with the baby.
So technically, that's a trios.
It's like Monster Asylum, where it's 3 people in the car, but the stats are tag.
Yeah.
I wonder if that means every time they have a kid, there's gonna be art. Every time there's another Heinz baby, we get a new version of the Moneymakers.
Pretty soon, if that's the case, they'll have to change their name to the Baby Makers. Okay, not a funny joke. I thought it was funny.
We're keeping that joke. Best stuff real.
Put it on the gag reel.
All right, so that is going to be all the big news that came out of Marktoberfest. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what Macho Manny looks like.
Yeah, I hope that Macho Mania is super jacked.
I didn't get to see him in person because at the end of the night, Booker's wife and his son showed up.
Oh, okay.
So they were there when he won. But yeah, very Macho Manny, very very young and very blonde.
Yes, I've seen photos. Cute kid, very cute kid.
Yeah, it's
Did you see the other new cards that had came out? They've released I believe an 8 and a 9 slot for one more time.
Yeah, I did see those. Yeah, the one was with Pulverino and King Pink. was Run It Back. I believe that's the strike one, and I cannot remember what the submission one is. But yeah, I saw they
I
put
don't
those
remember
out
that.
finally.
Still waiting on number 22 and number 23 version of Destiny's Call. That would be great.
We could see that happen. There's still
You know
cards.
what though? I feel like that card doesn't probably see a lot of play.
No, I don't think it does. Although I think there's a lot of places you could use it. I mean, obviously you use it in your Let Me Adam deck.
I would use it in the Grump, not the Grump, is that the Dick Thunderlips deck where his gimmick says when you play Spotlight cards?
To put spotlight cards in the pile so you can pull them out and play them. That's not a bad way. That's
Yeah,
actually
also
pretty.
so you can get the effect, you know what I mean? Because that way they're spotlights, they're meant to be in the discard pile.
Yeah, and well, if you put them, because not only does that let you thin your deck out, it's going to put those spotlights in the discard pile, which means once you roll that skill, you get to pick them up and potentially play them and activate your gimmick. Yeah, that's a good strategy. I also know
Absolutely.
Scarlet Graves players could use that to pull their that finish into the discard and blank somebody's gimmick.
Yeah, that was actually one of my strategies when I played Scarlet Graves.
I've seen Bobby Ohio do that a ton. That's why it's on.
The name of
I
the
mean,
number 9 card.
play Scarlet Graves, not use Destiny's Call. The number
The
9.
name of the number 9 card is called Listen Up, Jack.
Oh, that's right. It has Booker on it. Yeah.
It's got Booker, Dave Marisak, and the other Nealon.
Neil.
Yes, the older, more handsome one.
I didn't see if anything happened with the whole Ryan Nealon situation.
Did he have to defend?
A lot of stuff didn't happen. Like, for example, the All Ohio Tag Team Championship was supposed to be defended. That didn't happen, as far as I know. It's tough. It's tough trying to do when you've got an almost 50-person tournament, 6 rounds, a top 16 cut to try to basically fit in a bunch of other matches.
How many of the was the top 16 2 out of 3 falls?
The top 4 was.
See, I think that 2 out of 3 falls is great in this game just because of how unpredictable the game is. But that 2 out of 3 falls should be reserved for like special occasions, like finals. That's one occasion, or like championship matches. Just because in a championship match, anything like hypothetically, if you're the world champion and you're playing against me and you lose I'm playing EC3, I EC3 splash you, one turn, you lose the belt. Now there's no rematch clauses anymore in this game. So now you just lost your belt in one turn, one fall match, done. That's why I think 2 out of 3 falls comes in handy in this game, just because of the unpredictability. But it does lengthen things quite a bit, so there is a drawback to it.
So sorry about that, folks. We had a little technical issue, and we lost part of the program. So we are coming back now, much later in the day to re-record the part of the podcast. So
As they would say in SpongeBob SquarePants, 4 hours later. Anywho.
Okay. Never thought we'd have a SpongeBob meme on the show, but I guess it's first time for everything. So we just finished talking about the show. Before we got cut off, we've been talking about about Marktoberfest. One thing I forgot to bring up during Marktoberfest that happened, one of the matches that actually did take place, was they had the first round match between Big Money and Girthquake for the tag tournament to find out who the Inner Circle will essentially have to defend, to determine who's going to challenge the Inner Circle for the LFF Tag Championship.
That must have been a heated match. Did Big Money use who they played with against us at the Grand Gathering?
So there was a draft.
Oh, right. There was a draft.
So there was a draft. And I don't have in front of me who everybody drafted. I did notice that Zombie Cakes got the team they like to play in the draft, which is Zombie and Italian Bambata. They were able to get those in the draft, so good for them.
Is there going to be a draft for the next round, or are you locked in here?
I think it is your team is your team through the tournament.
That's good. I like that.
So because I'm assuming the team you take through is the team you're gonna challenge with. So if I'm gonna go from memory here, Girthquake was Various, and give me a minute. Okay, Big Money was King Cold, and Mr. Snap, new Mr. Snap.
New Mr. Snap. Okay.
New Mr. Snap, yeah. Stephen Hines was playing new Mr. Snap. The
So
big guy, Derek Schneider, was King Cold.
they were cranking out that hand size deficiency for the other team then.
Yeah, Nick was playing. Nick was Various. Justin Stein was it'll come to me. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on Justin played.
Cue the Jeopardy music.
Yeah, but Girthquake won.
Okay,
So
against all odds, with a hand size penalty, so to speak, against them, they pulled it out.
Yep, Girthquake won. Girthquake was going on to round 2, so congrats to them. If I remember who Justin played, I will.
Did you watch the match?
I did. I just can't remember who he was playing.
Was it a quick match or?
No, it was quite a long match.
You know, that's the intrigue for me about tag team. I like how long the matches are. There's a lot of action in them, just because it's multiplayer, and the crowd meters generally going up tremendously. Did they use the new tag team meters?
No, this was under the old rules.
Okay. The new tag team meters that came out are just for multiplayer 4 people, right?
The new tag that I don't believe they've come out yet. I believe they've talked about them coming out, but I don't believe they've actually come out yet.
Okay.
They've discussed them, but they're not available. I think the most recent meters that I've seen are the Liger's Den, and I believe it's Steel Chain.
Yes, those are the two that are on
those
the
are the
website.
last two they put out for sale. Yeah.
And they, for what it's worth, nothing against SRG, because obviously they have a lot going on. They talked about those, I want to say, before the Highlander event that happened. So that was a couple of months ago. Was it beginning of June?
It feels like it's been a while, but I feel like they didn't talk about the meter until after Gen Con.
Or no, the Liger's Den and
the Liger's Den and the Steel. Yeah.
that wasn't June. Highlander was, I believe, in July. It was early July. But in any event, just back to what I was saying, it took a while for them to print, though. Or I'm sure they had it printed, a limited run of them, or whatever it may be, like the minimum print that they would have to do. Because I remember seeing, I think it was at Gen Con, or maybe it was even Origins. Calais had one in his pocket. He pulled out one out of his pocket, I think, for a match. So they had them, but they just didn't have them for sale, I don't think, at the time.
And Justin Stein played Joey Janela.
Oh, awesome. I love that Joey Janela set.
Yeah, Joey Janela. So, Joey Janela. And I believe it was Janela was the one they used they went. I think it was Joey I think it was Justin they used the King Cold stipulation. I'm not 100% on that. Who they used it against.
The what?
The cold stipulation. Because, King Cold's gimmick is, your opponent's hand size is -3. I believe that tunnels. You can't choose both opponents and make them both -3.
Yeah, correct. It's tunneled.
So I think they chose Justin and Joey Janela. I'm not 100% on that. I think
was taken off the board from drafting for this event. Do you happen to know why? Is there some nasty combo that happens for Shade in multiplayer?
Yeah, so Shade gets his for both. The way it's currently being ruled. So for example, if so Shade's gimmick is if your opponent rolls 9 or 10, you add +1 to your next turn roll. So if both opponents, if both guys rolled 9 or both guys rolled 10, it's +2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's stacks. So like for example, if you were in a multiplayer match, like say a birdcage, and 5 guys rolled 9 or 10, well, that wouldn't happen in the birdcage. But let's say you're in a fatal 4-way match and all 3 guys roll 9 or 10, you'd get +3 to your next
It
tournament.
wouldn't happen in birdcage because
Right, because you bump out, yeah.
It bumps
And
out.
actually probably wouldn't. And you know, you're right. It wouldn't happen in 4-player either in Fatal 4-Way, because you'd bump out there. But if 2 guys rolled, a 9 and a 10, you'd get +2. If one guy rolled 9, one guy rolled 10. So yeah, it stacks. That's why they took him out, because it stacks.
I wonder how. I would have to look. I could do it easily, but I'm just kind of lazy. I wonder what his stat line is with King Hyena. Wonder if he would be a good combination.
I don't know.
I'm speaking on for Tornado, of course.
Yeah, of course. And then I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know if that's format's gonna stick around after the 2020 Vision takes
Tornado?
place. Well, multiplayer, 2 competitors in Tornado.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant the
Yeah.
whole format itself.
No. Well, I mean, they might differentiate. They might go like, classic Tornado, and then the new Tornado rules.
I don't see them doing that. I kind of see them more or less, like I've said before, doing, no more homebrews, but like they'll print off their own combinations of characters, kind of like they have Newman's right hand men or whatever it is, or the Rising. What's the Suns there?
L Super Sons
L Super Sons
and Right Hand Men.
Right hand man. They'll do stuff like that, but with newer ones. Like I saw, what was it, storage units or storage warriors?
Storage Warriors, yeah.
Yeah, there was just I'm curious to see what happens with those, because Steve kind of did like a teaser,
Yeah.
so it would be neat to see what comes with that. But I could see them doing stuff like that, or you could do your own homebrews. As long they'll have to release a list, of course, but they'll have to do lists of who's Newman and who's Valiant.
But yeah, I'm still waiting to see, because I figured that we would, although maybe that'll be later, because they've spoiled. There's gonna be Black Lipstick, which is who I thought it. Which I've had a source confirm that who I thought it was is who Black Lipstick is.
It's Ariel and Sage.
It's Ariel and Sage.
Did you see the full card with gimmick?
I did not. I just had a source confirm that that's who it was. They could not confirm who Storage Warriors was. They did say they did not think. The source did say that was not sure if it was Immortal Warrior or not. Was kind of negative that it was Immortal Warrior and Warehouse.
Well, the only storage I could think of would be Warehouse.
It's got to be Warehouse for Storage. I just don't know who the other one would be.
They're gonna probably end up swerving unless it won't even be Warehouse at all. But
They're why Storage?
right, I couldn't think of anybody else.
There's literally nobody else that makes sense with Storage. Warrior, I don't know who. I just don't know who would be the Warrior. Witch Hunter General, but that doesn't really seem like a warrior.
No, he's not a warrior.
And then,
I think a neat combination would be Witch Hunter General and Sage the Wiccan Witch.
it's just, I don't know if it makes sense thematically. A witch and a witch hunter.
I don't know. Maybe she's a good witch, like Belinda from The Wizard of Oz.
She's wearing the wrong. She's wearing the wrong colors. She's a black hat for sure.
Anywho, want to hop into the deck tech?
Yeah, let's hop into the deck tech. So we got a few weeks ago. I've been waiting to do this till you got back, because I think our deck tech's better when you and I are doing it together. We got an email from
collab really well on those.
We got an email from somebody that I met back at Gen Con, Tim White. And here's the email he sent. Hello. Been listening for a while and really enjoy the show. At Gen Con, I got to compete in the same birdcage pod as Michael. In that pod, I had his new competitor, DJ Outlaw. Did not get to keep it at the end, but bought it later because I enjoyed the competitor. I had built a DJ Outlaw deck and am submitting to YouTube for a deck tech, as well as looking for suggestions to make the deck better. As it is right now, the deck feels like it needs some more recursion versus opponent hand disruption. Deck list is attached. Thank you, Tim White. So I have the deck list here. And let's go ahead and go through it. Start with the first 3 cards. Snap Punch, Arm and Collar Tie Up, Snap Headlock. Those are the 3 stop leads.
And each player draws.
Each player draws. I think those are fine. Those are solid.
I disagree. And I'll tell you why. With DJ Outlaw, obviously you're trying to get rid of cards from your opponent's hand. So as you're doing that, I believe it's kind of counterproductive to give your opponent a card back to their hand. And of course, there's always the risk that your opponent's going to draw into something good, like a stop any. But of course, then DJ Outlaw on the other side of the coin, you have a 50-50 chance when you roll the dice to get your gimmick to trigger. So
yeah. Well, now
if you're going full blown, he wanted more recursion in this deck. So if he wanted to go that route, I mean, he could do 2 things here. He could go more draw power in the deck, and those would be fine because then you're going to draw a lot. And then in some of the later slots, you can continue with the burying theme to get rid of cards from their hand, so it really will kind of balance out. And you'll get the benefit of the drawing from the stops more than they will because they're going to have less cards in their hand than you, and you'll just have full hand dominance. Like you'll probably have, we'll just say 7, 8, or 9, or even 10 cards in your hand. They'll be down to 3 or less, hopefully. But I would just say use punch, lockup, and headlock just so that they're not drawing, and you'll have more cards in your hand. Therefore, you'll have more resources than they will.
Now, in this case, and we'll go into this a little bit more. We've already gone through this once, and I've looked through the deck. This is very, very heavy already. So being so very heavy, I don't mind if in this one instance he's got 3 cards that where both players draw, because the idea is if his deck's working, he's making his opponent give up and bury more cards than they're drawing. Now, if he shifts away and ends up going more recursion and less burial, then yeah, he may very well consider switching from the draw stops to the standard stops.
I do see what you're saying, but my theory when I build decks, there's a lot of stops. I wouldn't say a lot. There's a decent amount of stops in this game where both players draw a card. The snap set, the super hip toss, the elevated armbar, and snap kick, of course, for the follow up stops. Yeah. And then there's the back rake, the blindside smash, and drawing a blank.
Because you're talking about the strike one, right?
Blindside smash is the strike.
Okay, so you're talking about panic slam.
Panic slam. Thank you. Those are the 19 through 21s that allow you to draw, and then of course there's the 25 through 27, which allow you to draw with your opponent as well. So if you're just going to run those 3, you might as well run the other ones that are going to stop. I don't see that just having 3 going to make it, any better for you. You might as well just run 3 regular ones.
The way his deck is built now, I think it's fine.
Because you can draw from other areas less riskily. I don't even know if that's a word.
No, you just went full Steve Resk on it.
Okay, well, yeah, without the risk reward factor is just going to be far less by running the straight 3 than running those. And there's other areas in the deck that you can draw from without giving your opponent cards from.
All right, well, I think that's just there where we disagree. But let's go on to 4, 5, and 6.
All right.
So 4, 5, and 6, he has spin kick, single leg takedown, wrap around, wrist lock. So these 3 all do the same thing. Your opponent randomly reveals 2 cards in their hand. They choose one of their cards and bury it. So these 3 tie right along with the burial theme. However, I think, and we'll talk about this earlier, we're just digging in here. They need to put follow-up stops in this deck.
At least at least 2 follow-up stops. And as we get later into this deck, the 19 through 21 spot, we'll dive into it a little bit more. But, you're leaving yourself wide open. You can probably, I'm just going to do a little spoiler alert here. In this deck, he's running kick in the corner in the 13 slot. So you can get away with not having the follow-up grapple stop, permitting that you got a kick in the corner, which can stop a powerful follow-up, So keep the single leg takedown, and then just run the other 2 stops. Do you agree with me?
Yeah, I would definitely run. I definitely run the I believe it's the arm bar to try to stop a
Strike.
stop a strike, stop a 718, for example.
Yes.
Or a 718 or a 360 lariat or clothesline, or I forget what the 360 lariat version that is the not the draw.
That'll be super
Like,
hip toss, but you're talking about regular hip toss.
I'm talking about, like, instead of a nerve hold or, and I'm just blanking on the names. The cards that shuffle 2, draw 2.
Yeah, nerve hold, splash in the corner, and flying cutters.
Splash in the corner was what I was thinking.
So you're saying he should run armbar and super armbar and hip toss.
I'm saying you should probably run. I would almost run armbar and I would run armbar for sure, and then I would think about either, because I'm thinking, okay, what are the cards you're worried about? 718, press slam, and full Nelson. Full Nelson to me is the one you see the least often. So I think you could get away with running. You don't have to stop the full Nelson. I think you could get away with keeping the grapple as is.
So he could do that. He could have 2 of the cards where they reveal 2 and they choose to bury 1. If he keeps kicking the corner in the 13 and then plays DDT in the 14 because he's got the 9 for grapple.
Yeah, because he is playing DDT. He does have DDT in the 14.
You said he doesn't?
He does.
Okay, so then he's good. He can afford to have 2, but he definitely needs armbar.
Yeah, I would definitely put armbar on there, because a lot of people run 718, and then I think about doing is it snap kick? No, or just kick.
Kick is
running kick to think about stopping a press slam.
But I disagree, just because then you're saying he just runs all 3 follow-up stops.
No. I'm saying he leaves. He doesn't worry about stop. He doesn't worry about the grapple. The grapple he keeps as is.
Okay, so you're saying play the single leg takedown?
Play the wraparound wrist lock. Basically, add in the stop of follow-up strike, and add in the stop of follow-up grapple, and don't worry about the stop of follow-up submission.
Okay, so yeah, all right, I see what you're saying. That's a good idea. Yes.
Yeah, because you're really the only thing I would really worry about in this, because you're not going to see you don't see a lot of full Nelson. So the only thing that you really that you have to be concerned with is is somebody throwing out like a crossbow to try to get a submission finish. If they're a submission finish guy, like since I was on the brain, Rising Sun.
Yeah,
but I think that's the least common. I think the chasing the submission finish least. I think that's the one. If you're not going to run all 3 stops, you're going to take a chance. I think you take a chance there.
You know what would be another choice for the 6th slot, or not for the 6th? I'm sorry, because we're saying you're saying he's gonna the wraparound wrist lock is gonna stay. So
no, that's the one. That's the one that that's the one that's going to go. The wraparound wrist lock is going to get replaced by the armbar. I'm saying you should look at basically keeping the single leg takedown, putting in kick and armbar.
Okay. Yeah, because I was gonna say if he didn't play the armbar and he instead of using the wraparound wrist lock, there's another card that he might be interested in. which allows them to draw a card and they can randomly bury a card. That would be going over the steel chain. It's the 6th slot. It says if the crowd meter is 2 or greater, stop any follow-up strike. You draw a card, and your opponent randomly buries a card in their hand. So you could use this offensively or defensively, and then as the game gets later, that's when you'd be able to use it defensively once the crowd meter's up a little bit.
You could do that. You could maybe do. I would almost think about taking instead of then. If that's the case, I almost go over the ladder and replace it and take out the stop any follow up grapple and use the going over the ladder instead.
That one, they're gonna choose a card that you choose a card they have in play and discard it.
Oh, it's a different effect. Okay.
Right, you still get to draw the card, but they would just discard it.
It's okay.
I would keep.
So if you're gonna burial theme, yeah, you would want to. Okay, I see where you're going with that.
You should definitely keep the spin kick, so that they reveal 2 cards and choose one and bury it in the 4 slot. Keep that spin kick, but then maybe add in, like I said, the going over the steel chain, because then you could play that, like I said, offensively, just to draw a card and have them bury a card, and then later in the game it becomes a stop.
Okay, well, we're giving you a lot to think about it. 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
We're definitely divided on this. So 7, 8, 9. Chest slap, face takedown, duck the clothesline. These all do the same thing.
Yeah, they all make your opponent discard a card or they flip 4 cards.
Yeah.
Those are good. Trying to think if there would be another option.
There are plenty of options that
okay.
do those.
Here's a good one. The stomp.
Yep,
which
that's a great one.
Says your opponent buries a card from their hand, or you get a +1 your next turn roll. That's very diversified. Because say they don't already have a big hand, they got maybe 1, 2 cards, and you really need to win that next turn roll. Just play stomp. You get the +1.
Yeah, or maybe you're worried that they have you think they might have a certain stop in their hand, or I don't know. They're down to 1 card. You want to make sure your things are going to go through. You throw it. I don't know, but it's definitely options because it lets you bury it. Yeah.
One other thing, real quick. He wanted recursion. Here's the slot where you do it. Let's just say we'll take out the chest slap. Get rid of that one right now and put in forearm shot. Spend $2.50 and get the best recursion card in the game. You can draw a card or you can shuffle 4 cards back into your deck.
He probably doesn't have to spend any money. It probably came in this. He probably already has.
Yeah, he probably already has. I'm just saying.
They're so common, yeah.
But when I deck build, I like to have at least one of these cards in my deck on the 7, 8, and 9 slot, just because it's so good to be able to either draw a card or shuffle 4 cards back into your deck.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, what I like to run through these slots is some variation of a call to the crowd type card, a making an impact type card, and a one more time type.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I like to run in there. One card's gonna let me get some out of this card. One is gonna let me be aggressive, play 2, and then one that's defensively. Yeah. Or draw. That's what I like to run in those 3 spots. I kind of like, and that's one thing for the most part. I don't like to run the same card in 3 spots for the most part.
Yeah, it's very rare that you would do that. I don't like seeing decks that run Call to the Crowd, Rolling Forearm, and Strength in Numbers. I think that's just overkill.
I mean, if you're going to go really, really aggro, then I can see that. And it depends on the kind of deck, too. I might do that in a Merlin von Berlin deck.
Yes, Merlin von Berlin, absolutely.
To basically be able to have that option of I can go lead, follow, finish in 1 turn if I roll power.
Yep.
That's right. I actually ran into that on Sunday. I'm not on Saturday. I had a guy playing Merlin von Berlin who did that through lead, follow, finish, and it was an unstoppable finish because he hit a submission that turn.
But needless to say, that's one. You got a couple options there. Switch in the stomp or put in forearm shot for those for your 7. Yeah. Or you could do whatever 8 and 9. There's variants of those 2 cards for those slots as well.
But yeah, Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Moving on to the 10, 11, and 12 slots.
So he's got Cosmic Punch, All American Drop, and Waste. Cosmic Punch and All American Drop do the same thing, except Cosmic Punch is the strike version, and All American Drop is the grapple version. You bury one card in your opponent's discard pile for each strike, or if you're playing the Cosmic Punch or grapple, if you're playing the All American Drop, you have in play. So you're always going to be able to play that and bury at least one card in your opponent's discard pile.
Mm-hmm.
I would just go with one of these, to be fair. I would just go with one of them. Because to me, the only time you're really going to want to bury a card in your opponent's discard pile is if there's something giving him an effect. And for the most part, there's only going to be one card in the game that's going to do that.
Get
You're
rid
not
of a
gonna.
spot. You could bury a spotlight card. You know what I mean?
You could bury a spotlight card, but I mean, I'm more afraid of things like Scarlet Grave's finish,
Yeah.
or
Or Lemmy Adams submission finish.
Lemmy Adams submission, or other cards that have a discard. You could bury something like if somebody's got got a finish that's going to recur to their hand when they roll or do a certain thing.
Here's another opportunity for him to put a little bit of drawing in his deck.
Yep.
He could put knee lift in the 10 slot.
Yeah, but I'd keep one of them in the deck because I think it's good to have one of them in there. But I think this is another place where you could take one of those out and put a recursion. Put a card that's going to let you draw.
Yeah, knee lift will let him draw 2 if he has another lead in play.
Yeah, I think this is a good place to do it. Then Waste Lock is a little different. Waste Lock says if you have another lead in play, your opponent buries one card in their hand.
Yeah, I was looking at Slap earlier, and that's in the 10 slot. He could do the same thing as Wastelock, but yeah, I mean, definitely go. This is all right. He's all right, I believe, in these slots. The only
I
other
think he
thing
is too. Yeah.
is charging a headbutt. Is a good choice for the 10 as well. Or the like I said, the knee lift.
Yeah, I think turn roll bonus is always good. Again, that card, like the Cosmic Punches, can trigger off itself if you're charging headbutt, or like you said, or add a draw card.
And it also, you're getting turn roll bonuses, and you have a 50-50 shot of the gimmick triggering. So the turn roll bonus also is pretty sweet, because maybe you'll still lose the turn roll, but you'll still get you'll still get your gimmick. Or maybe you would have lost the turn roll, but now your gimmick triggered and you win the turn roll.
Yeah, it's true. You could take it. It could take a bump to a win.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So 13, 14, 15. We talked about this a little bit before. Kick into the corner and DDT. Those are great cards in those slots. I wouldn't change. That's what I run. Actually, his 13, 14, 15 I run. Because the 15's double arm lock. I love these cards. These are the
Yes.
flip 2 cards, put 1 card from your discard pile on top of your deck. I love that card. I think it's great.
I like though. We were talking earlier. It obviously didn't get caught because of the technical difficulties we had. I'm not as huge of a fan as you are of flipping cards in the discard pile, just because I don't. The risk of getting rid of key stops or finishers. Like, say you flip double armbar, fall away slam, and a finish. Now you're in a pickle, and you have to figure out which card you want to put back in your hand. It's kind of risky, but in this situation, you're only flipping 2, so you can get any card you want from your discard pile, put it on top of your deck. I do like these cards.
Yeah, like we talked about that with the running face kick / clothesline cards, and that 3 and 4. But yeah, 2, and also to be fair, there's not outside of the skill stops, which I think are still the best option, and the 13, 14, 15 slots if you can run them if they make sense. Other than this, what would you do? Takeover with the takeover card? Take over the steel chain in this case?
DJ Outlaw's technique is a what? A 6?
It's 6. Yeah, it's a 6.
I was gonna go say put Beg for Mercy in there, but his technique is not that great.
Technique's a 6. All right, so 16, 17, 18, whip kick, drop into the corner, dragon leg lock. These are essentially all the same card. If you have another follow-up in play, your opponent buries one card in their hand.
Yep. Those are good. I mean, he's sticking along the lines of the hand burial design that he had going. Nothing wrong with that. The only suggestion I have is that he goes in the 17 slot with toss over the top.
As just for recursion to basically shuffle back.
Yeah, you shuffle in one card for each other follow-up that you have in play.
Okay. I can say I like to run the reroll. I like to run the reroll cards here. I also like to run the. I'm trying to remember what the. I think the new gut wrench, where if in this slot, where if you have another bottom play, put a card from your discard on top of your deck.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
I like to run those here too.
The rerolls are also very good.
Yeah.
Here's an idea. In the 17 slot, he could run Tilt-A-Whirl Backbreaker to stop the full Nelson. We were talking about that earlier and how you said not a lot of people play it, and you don't see that out of the three of those power hit home run hitter cards. Right. That's the one that's probably the least seen. I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of people play it, depending on the competitor, but he's got some coverage against it. And then, of course, you could use this as an aggro card and draw one card for each follow-up you have in play.
Yeah, because that's a good way to get cards in your hand. Throw that as a draw, especially once you know if they don't have the full Nelson, because I mean the full Nelson's it's what spot 21.
Yep, 21, and you're not running the submission stop, the follow-up submission stop in this deck.
Yeah, I know. So you could run that. It would stop that full Nelson. It'd be one of your 2 skill cards, and you could and you can use it to draw. It's gonna draw one automatically, and for each follow, if you have more than one follow-up in play, you draw more than one card.
What's DJ's power?
8.
Other option is Walking Slam. In the 17 slot, you draw one card for each follow-up you have in play, then bury one card from your hand. The crowd meter is 2 or greater. It's also a lead. These cards are fantastic. You get a lead / follow-up in play, then boom, you win that next turn roll. You hit the finish.
Yep.
So I would go with one of those 3: the Tilt-A-Whirl, the Walking Slam, or the toss over the top. That's my opinion.
All right. But yeah, and then I'd probably just leave the other 2. If you want to stick with the heavy burial, leave the other 2 as is. But think about changing that one.
Now, getting into the 19 through 21, this is where I think the deck needs some overhaul just a little bit.
Yeah. So I think his 21 you and I have no problem with. It's the leg lock. The other 2 cards he's running are Shove Out of the Ring and Boulder Break. And both these cards essentially they're stop annies, but what it is you have to have the opponent has to have 2 of the cards. In case of Shove Out of the Ring, if your opponent has 2 grapples in play, stop any grapple, draw 2 cards. I think you'd be better just going off with elbow strikes because, and this is what we talked about earlier, if you're burying cards out of your opponent's hand, you're not going to. The idea that they're going to have multiples of a certain type of card in play, if your gimmick in your cards and your hand destruction theme is working right, they should not regularly you can't count on them having 2 grapples or 2 submissions in the case of Boulder Breaker in play.
I was just thinking of a little tech here.
Huh?
What if I almost was going to say series of punches, but they're not. Series of punches would be an okay idea because on their turn, you dominated their hand. They got maybe 2-3 cards in their hand, and now they want to go and play like Super Arm Drag to try to draw 3. That's great. Super Arm Drag hits. They now got follow up and play, but they can't draw 3 cards and get their hand size up because you got series of punches in play. Or series of kicks. Now their maximum hand size is -4. And you got a 50-50 chance of hitting your gimmick. So, but if you're not running either one of those, I would definitely just run the elbow strikes.
Yeah, and then I think you and I are in total agreement on number 20. Run that doesn't work for me, bro.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this would be your first skill card. Second, if you end up doing the Tilt-A-Whirl backbreaker or walking slam we talked about earlier. This is the if your opponent has a submission in play, copy submission, copy the text of a submission your opponent has in play.
Yes, until the end of the turn.
Until the end of the turn. Yeah. So this is an outstanding card. You can copy Lariat Knot.
You can copy the text of one of those that going over the steel chain, just as a random example, you would draw a card and they would randomly bury a card.
Crossbow, if they had the crossbow out.
What about cross-arm chicken wing? Grab a card from your discard pile and put it in your hand.
Cross-arm chicken would be great.
I don't think you'd get the +2 though to your next turn roll because it only lasts until the end of the turn.
I think it would.
Well, once the end of the turn hits, you wouldn't have +2 though. It's kind of like the same concept as I believe the call to the crowd ruling.
I think because it loads in. Because we talked about this once with let's say I think Steve and I think I was part of a discussion with Steve and some people at work about this. Like, let's say you had somebody like Shade, where the gimmick says you have +2 to your next turn roll. Like when your opponent rolls a 9 or 10.
Yep.
So let's say your opponent rolls a 9 or 10. They win the turn roll. Your gimmick hits. You load that +1 to your next turn roll, and then they throw low blow.
Yeah.
I believe what they said was because that +1 has already that gimmick that's already been loaded into the next turn roll. The blanking the gimmick wouldn't take that plus away from you.
Okay.
That's just even more.
That's just even more of a reason why to play cross-arm chicken wing. But
I could be wrong on that, so don't hold me to that. But it's possible that that copying the turn that you still get the turn roll.
Oh, I can totally dig it. This card is great.
Yeah, that doesn't work for me, brother. Is a great card, and it's something for you to run.
And then, of course, you said in the 21 slot we got the
leg lock.
Lock.
It's just a solid card. I mean, just a solid. If they have a strike and play, stop any strike. Nothing wrong with it.
You know what though? I was just thinking if he put in armbar here, or he put in armbar in the 6th slot, and then assuming he's got. You said he's got which one? Is it Wrapping the Ropes? Is that what the name of it is for the 27?
27, he's got Wrapping the Ropes, yeah.
Yeah, so that stops a lead or a finish. He could actually get rid of the leg lock and play something offensively in the 21 slot.
Here's the deal. If he keeps wraparound wrist lock, I would keep a leg lock. Because I think you need to be able to stop a follow-up.
Oh, right. We said that I'm sorry.
Now, if he ends up changing that, because I think we recommended changing that to the arm bar to stop something like a 718 potentially.
Yes.
If he makes that change,
we said that he was going to do 4 and 5 as they'll look at 2 cards from your opponent's hand randomly and bury one. That's right.
Yeah. But I would change 6. Yeah, my recommendation would be change 6 to the armbar.
Yep.
If he does that, then he could think about taking out the leg lock. If he doesn't, you got to keep the leg lock in because you have no way to. Because we'll get into what he did for his stops. I like his stop choices.
Yes, I do.
The 25 through 27. But if for what he's doing there, he needs to be able to stop follow-ups, and if he takes out the leg lock and doesn't put in the armbar, he has no way to stop any follow-up.
Another recursion card that he could put in, an interesting choice, doesn't get a lot of play. In the 21 slot, spinning arm lock, you shuffle 1 card from your discard pile into your deck, and if you have less cards in play than your opponent, it's also a lead.
Maybe. All right, so let's go to 22, 23, and 24. Smash into the corner, Death Valley drop. elevated ankle breaker.
We said earlier, it doesn't matter which one of these you want to get rid of, but one of them has to go, and you need to put in a shuffle 2, draw 2, which would be the splash in the corner, the flying cutter, or the nerve hold. Or, of
Yeah,
course, you could put in the lariats, the expensive ones, the flip 1, shuffle 2, draw 2.
yeah, you can put in the lariats. You could put in the flying cutter, splash in a corner, nerve holds.
You just
I know
got to be able to shuffle 2 and draw 2 in at least one of these spots.
you could do like the short arm lariat if you want to, flip
Flip 2,
shuffle
shuffle
2,
2, draw
draw
1.
1. Although I like, though that's my least favorite. I'd rather do the more expensive lariats or the splash in the corner, flying cutter, nerve hold type than do the short arm lariat type.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're gonna flip one and shuffle 2, I'd rather draw 2 than draw 1. If I'm gonna shuffle, I'd rather draw more than draw less.
You know what's another choice too, and I completely forgot about this. In one of these spots, he could totally do the double knee drop. That would be the 22 slot. Your opponent buries 2 cards from their hand. If this is a tag team match, you get to draw a card. But that straight up makes them bury 2 cards from their hand. That's a good choice.
Yeah, he could do that. The headlock kick, and I forget what the grapple is. But yeah, I run the headlock kick in my tornado tag deck. I like that card a lot. He could definitely do one of those as the burial.
One of those, and then use the finger snap. That would be a good choice too, because your gimmick already lets you get a lot of knowledge from their hand, and you're getting rid of cards from their hand as well. On top of that, use the discus elbow or the finger snap, were the ones where it says your opponent randomly reveals 3 cards in their hand, and then you get to choose a card and bury it. So it's kind of like your gimmick, but you're getting to see 3 random cards.
Yeah, that's pretty good too.
You know what? I'll just make the decision right here. We're gonna go discus elbow in the 22, flying cutter in the 23, and then headlock kick in the 24. So you got a little combination of each.
Yeah, I can see that. You still got the burial card. You still got a burial card in there. Got your recursion. I like it.
Yeah, it's a little bit of spice, you know what I mean? Spice is the variety of life. Right.
Well,
However that expression goes.
sort of. That was very close.
In any event,
All right.
the stop cards 25 through 27. We talked about this earlier before the
Yeah.
podcast had the difficulties. He made some really good choices with
Yeah,
this.
this is butt stomp, butterfly suplex, and wrapping the ropes. These are the stop any lead or finish card, and your opponent buries 1 card in their hand. For a burial themed deck, this is great.
Yep.
I'm magnifique. This is really, really nice. I like these a lot.
And then, of course, for the finishers, he's just running DJ Outlaw's finishers, which is great.
I like DJ Outlaw's finishers. I am biased because I made them.
Hey, they're good, though, so that's all that matters.
They are good. I do like them.
All right, solid deck. Right. Let us know what you do, Tim, with the suggestions we've made, and we'd like to see how it comes out, and let us know.
Yeah, let us know what changes you make and how it feels playing it. And look, and feel free, Tim or anyone listening, to give us some feedback and let us know why you think those choices were good or why they were bad. We'd love to hear any feedback.
All right.
So I believe. Oh, did you happen to? I believe that's going to be it. But let me throw a couple things in there before I forget. Did you happen to see the art that Steve put out a little bit ago?
The one with Okada?
Is that the New Japan thing? Yeah.
Yeah, Okada and Naito.
Okay, I'm not. I just saw the Los Ingovernables. I think
yeah, Los Ingobernables.
Ingovernables. Okay. I'm not. See, I'll be honest. I don't do. I have not watched a lot of New Japan, so I'm not as big a fan as quite as other people. So I just don't know these guys, but I'm happy to see we may be getting some New Japan talent in the Super Show, because that looks like it might be a tag team finish card.
It's I'm not sure.
It's four guys in the picture.
I believe it's four. It's two. It's Okada and Naito, but it's like two pictures. It's the same two. It's two people, but it's two pictures. So I'm trying to say.
I thought it was one picture with four guys. You said it's two.
I think it's a split picture.
Okay, well maybe it is. It's been a few hours since I looked at it.
In any event, you want to do the rundown?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do the rundown. So.
No, it's Okada and Naito. The picture is half of the picture is the setup for Okada doing the Rainmaker, which is his finisher, and then the other half of the picture is the Rainmaker actually hitting.
Huh.
Yep.
Interesting. I wonder if he's deciding which one he wants to go with.
It may be one of those comic book arts that he does where it's like a split picture on the card.
That could be it too. It could be that style, although it doesn't really look. Well, I guess the comic book art too. It could be that style, where it's the setup and then the end result. But yeah, so let me give the rundown. This is the list of the local play groups that I'm aware of. If you'd like to have your play group add to the list of play groups, you have any questions, comments, want to leave some feedback, you're welcome to reach out to Nate or I through Facebook Messenger. You can also email us. We are outlawmudcast@gmail.com, or send us a direct message on Twitter. We're at outlawmudcast on Twitter. Here is the list. I'll start. My own hometown, Columbus, Ohio. Buckeye Championship Wrestling. We meet at the Guard Tower Saturdays at 6 p.m. This Saturday, we're going to be meeting at Guard Tower East because it's our big monthly event, and I believe there's a Magic pre-release. And those usually happen early in the day, around 3 p.m. So if you want to come out, 3 p.m. Rust Belt Championship Wrestling in North Olmsted, Ohio plays out of Recess Games. We were just there for Marktoberfest. But their normal game is Monday nights, Monday Mayhem at 6 p.m. Next up, we have LFF Tri-State out of Lynbrook, New York. They play at a store of Fire and Days. Thursdays and Fridays, around 7 p.m. City of Champions Wrestling, home of Big Money, which we discussed earlier. They play at Titan Game Shop in Hopewell, Pennsylvania. I believe that this month they've been playing on Saturdays, but they often play on Sundays. Saturday or Sunday at noon, I would check with the Facebook group of the store to see when they're playing. True American Heroes plays out of Clarksville, Tennessee, in Frontline Games. They usually play Saturdays at 6 p.m. Florida Cardboard Wrestling plays at a House Rules game in Kissimmee, Florida. I have no date or time for them. Michigan Wrestling Alliance, New Order Wrestling plays at Fun for All Comics and Games in Ypsilanti, Michigan. They've had a change in GM also. David Schmidt, one of the Downriver Boys, is now running the New Order Wrestling there. There's also a Super Show group at Destiny Games in Westland, Michigan. They play Wednesday nights at 6:30. And there's a group that runs out of Fanfare Comics in Kalamazoo, Michigan. They are the Skull Group, which I think stands for Super Show. I think is short for Super Show Kalamazoo Underground League, but I could be wrong.
Wouldn't that be SKUL?
Yeah.
Skull has two L's.
Well, not this Skull. This Skull has one L.
Okay.
That's the way it is. They play second and fourth Sunday of the month from noon to 2 p.m. Out west, Sin City Wrestling plays at Atomic Training in Las Vegas, Nevada, Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. In Norman, Oklahoma, Wizards Card Championship Wrestling plays out of Wizards Asylum Comics and Games. You'll also have to check with the store or the Facebook group for dates and times. They often play Sundays around noon, but that's not guaranteed, and it's not weekly. Revolutionary Championship Wrestling plays a few different locations. They play at New England Comics in New Bedford, Massachusetts. Wednesdays and Saturdays. Wednesdays from 3 to 6 p.m. Saturdays from 11 to 4. They play at Tabletop Games in Westport, Massachusetts on Tuesdays from 3:30 to 6. And they play at Game King in Fall River Sundays from around 5 to 9 p.m. Island Life Wrestling plays at East End Gaming in Oakdale, New York. They usually play Wednesdays and Fridays. We have to check for times. I don't have times currently. Outpost Wrestling plays at Outpost Games in Glendale, Arizona. They usually play Saturdays from 11 to 2. Meeple People Wrestling plays out of Highlander Games in Boonton, New Jersey. There's also some gaming groups at two of the alternate Universal locations in Pennsylvania. There's one at the AU Bluebell location in East Norriton, Pennsylvania, and there's one at the AU Holmes location in Holmes, Pennsylvania. That location plays Sundays at noon. And that's it for our list of local play groups. Let me also mention, coming up next month, ArmorCon is going to be the weekend of the 11th through the 13th. They are in Framingham, Massachusetts.
At the Sheridan.
At the Sheraton, yeah. They have a website if you're interested in going to that. SRG will be there. I've read they're going to be doing 2 events. There's going to be I believe they're going to be giving out DragonCon promos there, but I'm not 100% on that. But they are running. They will have a presence there, and so if you're in that area or if you're going to that con, check them out. And of course, the weekend of the 20th, 19th, and 20th in outside Chicago is going to be the Impact Bound for Glory week that SRG Universe is going to be part of. And that is it for the show today.
I think this is our longest show ever.
It's not the longest show. I think we've done an hour and a half.
Well, I mean, we started this morning at 10:45.
We took a break though. I can't really. I don't think we can count that.
That was a joke.
All
but
right.
Anyways, hope everybody has a great week. Roll some great dice, eat some good foods. But you know what I always say: eat good and roll better.
Yeah. So that's all, guys. Thank you. Good day.